Contact points can be a super important upgrade. They may not necessarily make you faster, but what they will do is help you maximize your fun. Welcome to the 4th installment of the Budget Upgrade series. A huge thank you to the channel supporter Tag Metals for providing bars, pedals, and grips for today's build. For the stem, I went with a raised face Chester stem in 40mm length. I really wanted to go for a shorter stem for this bike, as the stock 90mm stem felt quite sketchy on some parts of the rougher terrain. The long stem paired with a really narrow 650mm wide bars really hampered my ability to feel comfortable on this bike. For bars, we have the Tag Metals aluminum T1 handlebars. They feature a rise of 30mm and have a 35mm diameter. They originally came in 800mm width, but I cut them down in my how to cut down handlebars video, which you can check out right here. After cutting these down, they're now 760mm wide. They have a 5-degree upsweep and a 7-degree back sweep. For those curious, they do weigh in at 348 grams. These retail for $85, but you can use my discount code down in the description below to save 15%. Tag Metals supplied me with some T1 Brop grips in blue, which feature a moto style grip. I've used these before and they're quite awesome. These are gonna set you back $25 if you decide to pick up a pair. These are also quite a bit wider than most grips at 135mm. They have a diameter of 29 to 31mm depending on the part of the grip. And what that is going to do is, for me personally, having a larger grip reduces my hand fatigue. Because this bike had a 27.2 diameter seat post, it didn't leave me with a lot of options for a dropper post originally, and that is one of the reasons I went with this terrible dropper post initially. But now, thanks to the gravel bike scene, 27.2 droppers are a bit more common. I decided to go with the P&W Components 110mm pine dropper post. I picked up a WTB Volt saddle that I got for $43 on Amazon. The saddle is more on the budget side as it has steel rails. It's going to weigh more, but honestly, I'm not really worried about it with the price tag comparison versus the chromoly, titanium, or even the carbon version of the saddle. Since this bike does not have internal routing, I actually had to go with an externally routed dropper post. The Puget dropper lever is a nice addition, however, it'll be even better when we actually put it in its proper place. At first glance, this saddle looks like it's going to be quite comfortable. I'm really excited to get this on the trail and give it a try. So I have this P&W Puget lever here, but because we're still running a triple up front, I can't put it on the side. So what I am going to do is I'm actually going to put it on the right side, but actually flip it up towards like this. And that way I can still get to it fairly easily. These T3 nylon pedals just look awesome. They also look like they're gonna provide a ton of grip thanks to the 10 replaceable pins that are on each side of the pedal. I got these in the black color, but they also have 4 other colors to choose from. I wanted to go with blue, but unfortunately they were out of stock. I like the idea of nylon pedals as they are typically less expensive and way less than their metal counterparts. These cost $55 and weigh in at 361 grams. Now that the new parts are on, let's head out to the test loop and put in some times. On the first climb, the new dropper post and the contact points made a massive difference, and I was able to put in a time of 3 minutes and 38 seconds. That's 19 seconds faster than our base time, and now 10 seconds faster than our previous best. The second steeper climb still shows that maybe I went a little too hard on the baseline time. I put in a time of 6 minutes and 56 seconds, which is 1 second faster than our previous attempt. However, we are still slower than the baseline time at 6 minutes and 45 seconds, which I must have been feeling really good on that day when I set that baseline time. Now to the first downhill section. My baseline time is 2 minutes and 16 seconds. However, my previous best is 1 minute and 48 seconds. The result is in. I put in a time of 1 minute and 39 seconds. That's 37 seconds faster than the base time and 9 seconds faster than the previous best time. With the new contact points, I put in a fast time of 1 minute and 20 seconds. That's 20 seconds faster than the base time and 6 seconds faster than the previous best. Right away, I immediately noticed the bike felt incredibly more solid and even familiar. I was originally concerned that by going to a shorter stem, the reach of the bike was going to feel even smaller. However, that actually wasn't the case. I think because of going with a full 100mm wider on the bars, the cockpit actually opened up significantly and put me in a more natural position that I am accustomed to. The steering felt way better as well, and it was no longer twitchy and overly responsive. The Tag Metal T3 nylon pedals were a major upgrade over the stock pedals. My feet were glued to the pedals in the rough, chunky sections of trail, and I no longer had to be concerned that my feet might just suddenly fly off. A lot of this comes down to the fact that the original pedals had dull plastic pins, while the T3 pedals had replaceable metal pins. One downside of the metal pins is that if you manage to catch your leg on the pedal, there's going to be blood. The T1 Brop grips felt a bit more comfortable thanks to the larger diameter of the grips. The soft ridges on the grip also really helped with my hand fatigue. They definitely felt grippy and made sure my hands stayed where they needed to. Absolutely, the biggest improvement to this bike has got to be getting rid of that suspension dropper post. Having a saddle stay in the spot where you want it makes a major difference in the overall quality of a riding experience. The P&W Components Pine dropper post worked flawlessly. The WTB Volt saddle was incredibly comfortable, and I was quite surprised. I've actually had this saddle in the past and it never really felt this good. The bad news is that the wife doesn't actually agree with me on how comfortable the saddle is. The good news, however, is the fact that I can steal it and go put it on one of my bikes after this series is done. Get subscribed because in the next episode, we make a major change.